So I'm guessing with this thing she has on her back, this is sort of a Nordic inspired ornament. I feel, you know, almost like Vikings and stuff, but it's also not very Vikingish, but maybe more like a fairy tale vibe. So I thought fairy tale, and then I thought, what could cover this the best way possible? Well, a tree. It's perfect. But I'm not very fond of just drawing on a tree. That usually don't end well. I don't like it when people just draw a custom tree, like, you know what I mean? So what I was thinking was to like find a really nice artwork, like a painting or a drawing that has the vibe that I was looking for. So I did search on Pinterest, and I found a tree that I thought was like, yes, this would be cool as a cover up, and it would really work. We'll do this just as I see it. When you darken it, you just see that it keeps the dark areas, and then just sort of makes the light areas transparent, and that's sort of what's happening when you are covering a tattoo. Maybe next time you should get a clip-on mic. Yes, yeah, that could be better maybe. Or I could just have my amazing microphone, but it's just the connection thing that it makes it not work. But you know what I mean here with this tree thing. Maybe have it. So this is, I just love finding amazing art. Let's see here. I want to make this one. You can see here it's got like the placement. It's going to cover perfectly, and even though it doesn't cover perfectly, it's going to look like it's covering perfectly, because you're not going to see. Bye, David. Thank you for being here. You're not going to see the old tattoo because there's so much other things going on that you're focusing on, you know. So a tree like this would be awesome. But then again, I mean, when you're looking at this painting as it is, now it's, you know, you see this shape here. I'm gonna try to, if I do this, copy, paste. My little trick here is to put image, you know, copy the image on top again. So now we can see the top image, and then we are using the eraser in the middle here just to see what it would look like if, you know, I'm gonna put another layer here just so I can see that I'm actually okay, yes, and then the correct layer, yes, okay, that I'm actually sort of, you know what I mean, I'm choosing what area of the skin is going to be covered with the tattoo. I'm sort of painting the image, but I'm not. I'm really cutting a hole in the image, taking away that layer, and then we can see the tree in the middle layer. You understand? So, and this is something that I would really like to do, like something like this. We can smudge stuff, you know. We go into the tree here, and we can just smudge it so that we don't see that line. And this is not, you know, the biggest deal. Like, this is not, we're not ruining it. We're just having a bit of a plan to like what is going on here. And then we can't see the full back, you know. I would love to see like a photo of her back, like in the straight, perfect angle, straight ahead. Her arms would be down and not like that. So down with your arms relaxed, and then someone has to take a photo from the back, and without the bra, without any sweater, just like naked. And that's the best way to take a photo of your back if you want to sort of plan the tattoo. But yeah, that, like, just to show you how easy it can be to sort of just like plan a tattoo like this. You see that even though like this is like full opacity, you know, and this is what you would it would look like this when it's done. And then when it's healed, it's going to go down a little bit. So about 80% is what I usually say that's very, normal, that it loses sort of 20% of the saturation and the contrast and everything. So it's going to be a little softer. But even though if you had like a really bad luck and you got down to like 60%, even though it's going to look even better, but probably it's going to end up around 70 or 80%, and still that looks pretty cool. You can, I'm not saying you should copy this photo and just add it. I'm saying that you can use this as a model, and then the artist uses this as a model, and then adding stuff, changing colors, adding fairies, adding a house, adding some, I don't know, flowers, could be anything. But it's just to have that basic thing, like something darker and something detailed is going on just where that tattoo was, It's important. And to cover up a tattoo like this, or to cover up a tattoo in any way, you need 3 things. It's darkness. It has to be darker than it was. Like, in general, the whole thing should be darker than it was. It cannot be lighter than it was, So it needs to be darker. It needs to be bigger. So you have to go bigger than it usually was, than it originally was. You can't make a cover-up that is smaller than a tattoo. So you need to go bigger. The bigger you go, the more room you have for light tattoos. Tattoos that are not meant to cover up. I was not talking to you, Google. That was 2 things. Darker, bigger. And the third thing you need is sort of illusions, details that are making you focus on them, and sort of taking your mind off the old one. So we're almost making an illusion here. It doesn't have to be genuinely covering perfectly. It has to look like it's covering, because it's so many details that is, you have your eye on that instead of what's behind it, So yeah, that was this. That's sort of what I would do. This is an easy thing. If the client comes in and like, yes, I want this exact painting of this fairy tale tree that I found on Pinterest or Google, and I would do that. I would just, first of all, I would sort of maybe check to see who painted this, who made this. Is it a digital drawing? What is it? Who made this? And then I would actually try to see if I can contact them and ask the client to do so also. Maybe they know, who this is, or is a fan of them, and they can ask, is it okay that I tattoo a copy of this? Otherwise, sometimes when we don't want to change anything and just keep the original painting or drawing, it's just to sort of I usually just write it in the captions and the description. I credit the artist, and I just let everyone know that this is an amazing artwork by this artist, this photographer, this something like that. And then you credit it. But that's sort of like plan B. If you don't get a hold of them, you credit them. And I don't know about rules. There may be different rules and laws about that around the world. But yeah, that's what I do. Okay. You are silent now, chat. But I'm glad I'm glad. Usually that means you are, you like what you see, usually.
This is the Tat Chat with Electric Linda.